Hey there, Jenn Dize here for Status Coup, and I have much better news for you today than I did yesterday. So, mea culpa, I misunderstood yesterday when I said that the judge in the current Ghislaine Maxwell case had delayed the release until Monday of really important documents from 2015 in a case between Ghislaine Maxwell and alleged victim Virginia Roberts Giuffre. So I thought that meant they were delaying all of the documents. It turns out they were just delaying some of the documents. So late last night, we actually got what some might consider to be a treasure trove of documents related to that 2015 case. And wouldn't you know it, Virginia Roberts Giuffre had named names. Now, we all expected the names I'm going to talk about today. This isn't going to be such a shocker, but we're learning a heck of a lot more than we knew before. So, Virginia Roberts Giuffre has named Bill Clinton, Alan Dershowitz, and Prince Andrew as being involved in the Epstein world, and more specifically, being involved in the abuse of young girls. So this is really, really important move forward movement in the current case, and hopefully we'll learn more and more and more, and hopefully those additional documents will be released Monday. So I'm so glad that these documents have been released. It is just truly in the public interest. It is so important that these really wealthy, powerful politicians and celebrities and royals be named, and that hopefully they come to see, the consequences of their action, that justice is truly brought to the young girls who are now women. So let's dive right in and start off with Bill Clinton, because Bill Clinton kind of gets a pass when it comes to the liberal world. Like, he's been accused of rape more than once. He's known to be kind of smarmy. And he's been named, related to the Epstein case many, many, many times. So it's not really a surprise to anyone. What is a surprise is the lack of liberal Democrats who care. They seem to just not care. They care that Donald Trump was maybe in this world, allegedly, according to some. He definitely was in their social world, Ghislaine and Jeffrey. But the Dems seem to be very hypocritical on this point. They only want to talk about Alan Dershowitz or, again, Donald Trump. So I think, when it comes to the Epstein case, listen up, liberals. You're gonna have to pay attention, even if some of your favorites get taken down through this, because justice is justice and wrong is wrong. You can't just decide to be mad at the Republicans or the conservatives who are allegedly involved in this. You have to get mad and seek justice, even if some of your favorites, like Bill Clinton, who's been rehabilitated in so many ways, you have to be mad at him too. The hypocrisy is disgusting. So anyway, let's start off with Bill Clinton. So this is out of Newsweek as of late last night, so the 30th. Today is the 31st as I record this. Bill Clinton went to Jeffrey Epstein's island with two young girls, Virginia Giuffre says. And again, Virginia Giuffre is one of the foremost voices of the alleged victims. In recently unsealed court documents involving dead child sex trafficker Jeffrey Epstein didn't kill himself, and his alleged accomplice Ghislaine Maxwell, a woman named Virginia Giuffre, who publicly accused Epstein of sex trafficking, said that she once saw former Democratic President Bill Clinton on Epstein's island with two young girls from New York. In the questioning by lawyer Jack Scarcola, Giuffre was asked, "Do you have any recollection of Jeffrey Epstein specifically telling you that Bill Clinton owes me favors?" "Yes, I do," Giuffre answered. "It was a laugh, though. He would laugh it off. I remember asking Jeffrey, 'What's Bill Clinton doing here on Epstein's island?' kind of thing. And he laughed it off and said, well, he owes me favors. He never told me what favors they were, Giuffre continued. I never knew. I didn't know if he was serious. It was just a joke. He told me a long time ago that everyone owes him favors. They're all in each other's pockets. And obviously, this is really kind of incriminating testimony from Virginia Giuffre based on her recollections. But it's important to note what she says there, that everyone is in his pocket. And I think that speaks to what a wide, wide web and tangled web this is. There are a lot of people who are hopefully going to be named as part of this. And everybody owes him favors. Everybody owed Jeffrey Epstein favors. Yeah, of course they did, because he potentially had evidence against them that he could use as sort of blackmail. At least that's what some of the speculation says. So Jeffrey Epstein was very, very rich for reasons nobody knows or can figure out to this point. He was extremely well connected. So was Ghislaine Maxwell. She was there by his side. And for much longer than she said that she was, they were interacting. They were interacting well past when she said. So I just really want everyone to think about how many people this case could potentially incriminate. It's a lot, and I really think some favorites of certain people are going to be implicated here. Shortly thereafter, Scarcola asked her, were sexual orgies a regular occurrence on the island at Jeffrey's house? Giuffre responded, yes. Scarcola then asked if she was ever present with Epstein and Clinton on the island. Ghislaine, Emmy, another girl who was allegedly a regular at Epstein's house, and there was 2 young girls that I could identify. I never really knew them well anyways. It was just 2 girls from New York, Giuffre answered, and said they were all staying in Epstein's house on the island. So this tells us kind of the, at least according to Virginia Roberts Giuffre's recollection, the kind of atmosphere on this island, Little St. James, or Lolita Island, as it also became known as. Orgies, apparently frequently. Bill Clinton, allegedly there. These are things that are really kind of damning for Bill Clinton. Obviously, we need more than a he said, she said, but there's a lot of evidence that Bill Clinton was indeed, in this, that he was indeed associated with the disgusting misdeeds going on that island and elsewhere. In a statement to Newsweek on Friday, a Clinton spokesperson denied the allegation, saying he has never been to Little St. James Island. The claim had previously been made by Clinton representatives in 2019. He'd not spoken to Epstein in well over a decade, Angel Urena added, well before his terrible crimes came to light. Epstein had multiple ties to Clinton, and Clinton, along with many other big-name celebrities, was a repeated passenger on Epstein's private Boeing 727 plane, which was nicknamed the Lolita Express due to the frequent delivery of apparently underage women to the island of Little St. James, a reference to the 1955 Vladimir Nabokov novel about a 36-year-old literature professor who sexually engages a 12-year-old girl. Sexually engages, Newsweek, is a little not the right description of rape, by the way. Anyway, in 2002, Epstein hosted Clinton as well as actors Kevin Spacey and Chris Tucker on the 2002 tour of Africa associated with the Clinton Foundation. Oh boy, I have a lot to say about the Clinton Foundation, but that's a story for another day. Epstein called Clinton the world's greatest politician in a 2002 New York Magazine article in which the president, Donald Trump, mentioned Epstein's predilection for girls on the younger side. Clinton praised Epstein. In 2015, the now-defunct pop culture and news website Gawker released the flight logbooks for Epstein's Gulfstream and the Lolita Express 727. Clinton is listed as having taken at least 11 flights on the Lolita Express. Now, we actually last year got an update where potentially Bill Clinton was in fact on that plane not just 11 times, but 26 times. Why? That's a lot of times. Just saying. In one flight, Clinton allegedly flew with a softcore porn actress listed under massages in Epstein's address book. On all 11 flights, he rode with Maxwell and Epstein's former assistant, Sarah Kellen. Kellen has been accused in court filings of recruiting young girls, acting as a pimp on Epstein's behalf. On multiple flights, additional women who flew with Clinton are either listed by only their first name or simply as female. A 2019 statement from the Clinton Foundation claimed that Clinton knows nothing about the terrible crimes Jeffrey Epstein pleaded guilty to, adding, Clinton took a total of 4 trips on Jeffrey Epstein's airplane. Dear Clinton Foundation, could you just, stop lying about things? We have the flight logs. What are you trying to say? Why would you lie about something that's verifiable that it was at least 11 times? I guess people are dumb enough to believe whatever the Clinton Foundation says if they're, Clinton fans or Hillary fans or whatever. Staff supporters of the foundation and his Secret Service detail traveled on every trip, the statement continued. By the way, that's disputed as well. He's not spoken to Epstein in well over a decade and has never been to Little St. James Island, Epstein's ranch in New Mexico, or his residence in Florida. Newsweek reached out to the Clinton Foundation for comment. So that's just the first person on this list. Let's get into Alan Dershowitz as well, who Alan Dershowitz just not a good guy in any sense of the word, but of course he'd be associated with this. So Alan Dershowitz defends himself after name surfaces in Maxwell Epstein documents. Attorney Alan Dershowitz defended himself from sex abuse claims Friday after his name appeared in a slew of unsealed documents related to a since-settled defamation case involving Ghislaine Maxwell. The emeritus Harvard law professor was accused of having sex with then-minor Jane Doe No. 3, identified in court documents as Virginia Roberts Giuffre, and witnessing Jeffrey Epstein and others sexually abusing girls and young women. The allegations, lodged in a 2014 court filing, reemerged in more than 600 pages unsealed Thursday night in Giuffre's 2015 defamation case against Maxwell. Dershowitz claims the document exonerates him, something that other people don't quite see it the same way. I demanded release of all documents because they contain emails and manuscripts proving, in Giuffre's own words, that she never met me, Dershowitz said in a tweet Friday morning. I knew they would repeat her false accusations against me, Alan Tipper Gore, and others, which her own lawyers admit are wrong. He added, there are no new accusations against me in the documents I got unsealed. I don't know about that. All her accusations were made in suits she filed years ago. They were false then and now, as shown by her emails and the manuscript that prove I never met her. So, apparently in 2016, former attorneys for Giuffre previously said it was a mistake to have accused Dershowitz of sexual misconduct. Dershowitz helped Epstein cop a non-prosecution agreement with federal prosecutors in 2008, in which the convicted pedophile was jailed for 13 months on state prostitution charges. Okay, so I just have to say that this is something that really it just makes no sense. On prostitution charges? No, he was having sex with young girls. Young girls. Young girls aren't, they're not, I mean, I was going to say they aren't prostitutes, which may not be the case. There are definitely young girls who do become prostitutes, but there is no evidence that it was prostitution involved with this particular young girl. Like, Jeffrey Epstein got off really lightly. Like, that's an understatement. And Alan Dershowitz helped to make that happen. So it goes on and on. But let's see what the document actually says. So this is from the actual court docs, which someone unredacted. One such powerful individual that Epstein forced then minor Jane Doe number 3, who is Virginia Roberts Giuffre, to have sexual relations with was former Harvard law professor Alan Dershowitz, a close friend of Epstein's and well-known criminal defense attorney. Epstein required Jane Doe number 3 to have sexual relations with Dershowitz on numerous occasions while she was a minor, not only in Florida, but also on private planes in New York, New Mexico, and the U.S. Virgin Islands. In addition to being a participant in the abuse of Jane Doe number 3 and other minors, Dershowitz was an eyewitness to the sexual abuse of many other minors by Epstein and several of Epstein's co-conspirators. Dershowitz would later play a significant role in negotiating the NPA on Epstein's behalf. Indeed, Dershowitz helped negotiate an agreement that provided immunity from federal prosecution in the Southern District of Florida, not only to Epstein, but also to any potential co-conspirators of Epstein. NPA at 5. Thus, Dershowitz helped negotiate an agreement with a provision that provided protection for himself against criminal prosecution in Florida for sexually abusing Jane Doe number 3. Because this broad immunity would have been controversial if disclosed, Dershowitz, along with other members of Epstein's defense team and the government, tried to keep the immunity provision secret from all of Epstein's victims and the general public, even though such secrecy violated the Crime Victims' Rights Act. There's a lot to say about that, but at its heart, it's just disgusting what these wealthy, powerful people are allowed to get away with. That was kept secret, that they got special treatment. You know, even if you say, okay, Alan Dershowitz didn't actively sexually exploit or molest or rape young girls, which I think the evidence points to that he did. So even if you put that aside, which is really hard to do because it's so abhorrent, he knew what Epstein was doing, and he helped to cover it up. So, at worst, he's a child rapist. At best, he's someone who helps child rapists. So, Alan Dershowitz can go right to hell, in my opinion. So, I'll paste this. These are the links to all of the documents released, which had formerly been under seal. So it's a lot of info. But I want to kind of close out here with Prince Andrew, because I think there's a lot of smoke here as well. So Prince Andrew lobbied U.S. government for a better plea deal for Jeffrey Epstein, newly released Ghislaine Maxwell documents claim, and this is the Independent. Newly unsealed court documents claim the Duke of York allegedly lobbied the U.S. government for his former friend Jeffrey Epstein to secure a favorable plea deal in the disgraced late financier's underage prostitution case. So, allegedly, here we have someone else who's willing to cover up for child rapists. I don't understand, like, how do you get to a place in your life where you're okay with being buddies with rapists? Rapists of young girls. And how do you get to a place in your life that, like, you'll go to bat for them? I mean, it's Prince Andrew. He's not like, he's rich and powerful. What incentive was there for him to get involved in this world? So Prince Andrew, by the way, has recently retired from public life and is very much hidden and is acting very weird. So again, there's a lot of smoke here that not only did he protect child rapists, but he was allegedly doing so himself. So just horrifying. More light has been shed on Prince Andrew's friendship with Epstein, who he has distanced himself from through the documents which were published after the court rejected an appeal by Epstein associate Ghislaine Maxwell to keep them secret. The documents released Thursday were from a now settled 2015 defamation lawsuit, and one of Epstein's alleged victims, who named Prince Andrew as one of the notable men she claims she was pressured into having sex with as a 17-year-old. Ms. Giuffre claimed in the suit and other litigation that she was recruited by Maxwell in 2000 to be a sexual slave to Epstein, and was also pressured into having sex with U.S. politicians, wealthy entrepreneurs, a famous scientist, and fashion designer. The Duke, all the accused men, and Maxwell have denied the allegations, but a photo that emerged of Prince Andrew with his arm around a young Ms. Giuffre in a mansion in London put the royal close to the center of the scandal. Two of Epstein's victims, known only as Jane Doe 1 and Jane Doe 2, allege the convicted pedophile depended on his high-profile friends, including Prince Andrew, to help him secure a reduced sentence from the U.S. Attorney in South Florida. They appealed for the release of the documents in the case as they said it would prove Prince Andrew's involvement in Epstein's case. They are seeking documents regarding Epstein's lobbying efforts to persuade the government to give him a favorable plea arrangement, including efforts on his behalf by Prince Andrew and former Harvard law professor Alan Dershowitz, claimed the docs. They have alleged these materials are needed to prove their allegations, that after Epstein signed the non-prosecution agreement, his performance was delayed while he used his significant social and political connections to lobby the Justice Department to obtain a more favorable plea deal. Give some more background on Epstein. As a result of the scandal, Prince Andrew sought to distance himself from Epstein. But after the latter was released from prison in 2010, the Duke was pictured spending time with his former friend, which he said was a mistake and an error. Ms. Giuffre was asked by her lawyers as part of her deposition in 2016 if Prince Andrew would have relevant information that would be useful to investigators. She said yes, he would know a lot of the truth. I don't know how much he'd be able to help you with, but seeing as he's in a lot of trouble himself these days, I think he might, so I think he might be valuable. The newly released documents also reveal email correspondence between Maxwell and Epstein, who died earlier this year while in prison for other charges. I like that they put who died instead of who committed suicide, because Epstein didn't kill himself. They also contain claims from Ms. Giuffre that Ms. Maxwell had sex with girls as young as 15. Two documents that were not released as scheduled on Thursday were depositions Maxwell gave in the civil lawsuit in 2016 as her lawyers appealed the ruling to have them released. They said the documents should be blocked since Maxwell now faces criminal charges for aiding Epstein's abuse of underage girls. She has denied the charges and currently awaits trial in prison in New York following her arrest earlier this month. Okay, so here we have three powerful people, wealthy, rich, famous, people with connections who were associated with Epstein, who allegedly partook in the molestation and or rape of young girls. So, I'm still going through these documents. Other journalists are still going through these documents. There's a lot here. So I will continue giving you updates. This video is getting quite long, so I will cut it off here, but I will be back very, very soon with additional information from this document dump, because it is important that the public learns what has happened here, or what is alleged to have happened here. So justice must be seen. Remember that if some of your favorites get implicated in this, that's their bad. Don't hold them up as heroes. Like certain Democrats hold Bill Clinton up as a hero. It's important to push for justice for these victims, no matter who is implicated in this. All right, so I will see you very, very soon. Please subscribe to this channel if you haven't already for continuous updates, and hit that like button and leave me a comment below about what you think about all of this. All right, until next time, bye-bye.